Hey guys.
I'm back. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Pixie Dust, and we are here for our third installment of our podcast series.
Yes.
Kybalion review.
Right. So I know it's been a few weeks. We had a lot of going on. Both of us were both traveling everywhere, and now we're back and ready to continue the study session with you guys about the Kybalion. So we already addressed the first 4 principles, and today we're going to talk about the principle of rhythm and the principle of cause and effect, also called the law of karma in other contexts. I'm not sure the Kybalion actually calls it that way, but that's what it is. So, and we're going to start with the law of rhythm.
Yes, law of rhythm. All right, I'll go ahead and start with this a little bit. So, I really personally love I love all of these principles, but reading about the law of rhythm, or the principle of rhythm, really, it just speaks to me. But let me go ahead and just read this little paragraph that the Kybalion says. So the principle of rhythm: everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So there's already in this, without me even having to read farther, like so many ways that I could possibly apply this to manifesting. And the second sentence underneath that what I just read is like, this principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measure motion to and fro, a flow and an inflow. So like swinging backwards and forwards, and they're flowing in between the two poles that are based on the principle of polarity, basically, which is the one that we just did right before this. So, you know, if you think about that, and just like the rhythm of life, for example, I mean, everything is constantly, and I love that all these principles kind of tie into each other, because with this, you could get back into the principle of vibration even, and just that everything is constantly in motion. But then with now we actually have like a flow to like the vibration, you know? And so I just kind of wanted, I took a couple notes about this, and I wanted to kind of like tie it into quantum physics a little. And I just like kind of did a quick Google search on how the laws of physics would apply to this. And just based on so this is like an article I had found on Forbes.com, but like in a science section, and I have a couple other sources as well, where they just state that in one book, but it's called The Infinity Concerto and the Serpent Mage by Greg Bear. There's a character in the book that describes the basics of magic as all is waves, with nothing waving over no distance at all. So like that is a little bit confusing, but it's like, it relates into like kind of the quantum physics law of just everything being waves, you know, like with sound waves or light waves, and then those waves having rhythms as well. And so I don't know, just kind of wanted to like tie in like a scientific relation to this, to kind of expand on what it means. But yeah, if you want to go off on the rhythm a little bit too, go ahead. I just wanted to throw that first as well. I
mean, if we look at nature, then of course, obviously we have the seasons. That's a rhythm, you know.
The tides of the ocean is
the tides of the ocean, the seasons, which are obviously caused by the sun and stuff.
Yeah.
But and what else? But like in the Kybalion, okay, let me read a few more things. So the great Hermetic principle, the principle of rhythm, embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, a to and from movement, a flow and inflow, a swing forward and backward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide like ebb and flow, a high tide and a low tide. Between the two poles manifest on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. There is always an action and reaction, an advance, a retreat, a rising and a sinking, manifested in all of the airs and phenomena of the universe. Okay, so, but I mean, in the Kybalion, they talk about, like in this chapter, they talk about a lot about life. And so again, we started off with like science and nature, but like applied to life is, you know, if you look at people's lives, like a lot of people have like, I guess, more average, boring lives. But then there's these people, if you look, that have been through extremes. And actually, I noticed this with like a lot of famous, successful people. And I don't want to just say celebrities because that's like lame, but like other people that are famous for something else, like famous entrepreneurs, writers, like, or scientists, whatever. It's like some have achieved such great things, but they have also been through horrible things. And then a lot of what the Kybalion says here, that like, and that's why I was saying a lot of people have more average life. So yes, there's ups and downs, but for them, they aren't as extreme. Versus if you look at the people that have achieved amazing things, they've also been through the worst. And I mean, look at so many great, very known people. I mean, those are all pretty crazy stories. I don't know why I'm thinking of her. I was just thinking of, maybe because you said Robert Monroe, now I'm thinking of Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, and honestly, I thinking of a lot of just people in general. I mean, and that could be said in certain ways, because what I'm thinking, you know, it's like, yeah, a lot of people choose to live these, or have, not necessarily even choose, but they're just in these more so average lives. And it's almost like, you know, going back to like the polarity, it's like we have our own rhythms within a different measurement of polarity, kind of, you know, like there's the average lives, so to speak, that are comfortable going from here to here. And then there's like the people that achieve great things that, you know, hit this massive like peak success, but then they've also been through these like undulations of just like of strife and trials. And I feel like, I wonder if it's like we come pre-programmed with these rhythms in us already, or if we can like, or if we activate it as we go, you know, because, you know, like with awareness or something.
Yeah, but that is also said in the Kybalion. That is said that the Hermeticists, I mean, like a student of Hermeticism, which this is, the Hermetic masters long since discovered that while the principle of rhythm was invariable and ever in evidence in mental phenomena, still there were two planes of its manifestation so far as mental phenomena are concerned. Wait, hold on. I made a mistake. I was reading from the web page. That's not what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
I think they're saying that like if you are trained, you can to some extent escape it.
Yes, and I actually think I was looking at what you maybe have meant to read, but it says the master of Hermetics polarizes himself at the point at which he desires to rest, and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry him to the other pole. So then it says, all individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery to do this to a certain degree, more or less unconsciously, but the master does this consciously and by the use of his will, and he can attain this degree of poise and mental firmness, almost impossible belief on the part of the masses, who are swung backward and forward like a pendulum. So to basically like kind of just what we just said is, you know, the masses don't have this awareness or this mental strength essentially to even notice that they are stuck in this pendulum that they could break free from, you know, or have control or self-mastery of. And I think that, you know, that when we are free of that, that just escalates or elevates our manifesting abilities so much more. You know?
Okay. And okay, I don't know why limiting beliefs come to mind, but again, I think that it's so deep instilled with us that if we have something great, almost that we should feel guilt almost. And I think that a lot of this drama could actually be coming from that. But I mean, not always. Some people go through a lot of bad things early in life, and then they experience a lot of success. And I mean, but that's in the book too, that sometimes like you go from one side of the pendulum to the other, and it's not like, oh, you're going to be so great later. It's just that there is balance. And what was the book that they what was the word? I saw it everywhere. It's like some neutralization law of nature.
Mental, or no. Well, they just do, mental law of neutralization.
Yeah, and then, the law of compensation, that's what I was.
Oh, yeah.
So nature's law is like, and according to the book, is that if in a past life, you've been through a lot of negative things, or you are now, and then therefore the law of compensation gives you like the success break after, or lucky break.
Yeah.
So that's one side of it. And then the other side of it is, and sorry, I hope I'm not confusing anyone right now, because I'm talking about two things. So this would be the law of nature according to the book. But then going back to programming again, I think that, yes, like you said, we are all programmed a little. And I think that a lot of the drama is that way self-created or attracted, because like deep within us, maybe we achieve something beautiful or great, or we see something really lucky and we feel some type of guilt inside of us, and therefore we attract some bad things after, you know what I mean? But it's actually because we are feeling guilt for having something more than the average person, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. And maybe there's more of like a emotional reaction that causes us to, I don't know, act differently.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking a little bit of, it might too, I know I'm not a master astrologist or anything by any means, but I know that there are some points in our chart with the degrees where I think maybe like I don't know, the degree maybe is can symbolize like the year that trait activates within your chart or something. Okay. So I wonder if, I guess I'd have to really know a little bit more about astrology, but just how that could align in our body's natural rhythm, of life. But then at the same time, I know that just because we have these like activations in our birth chart, we have to choose to like what we're going to do with that. It's not just going to happen because it's there. Like we have to make that effort or one way or another. So I don't know. I mean, it's an all-encompassing principle, the rhythm,
Yes. So again, the goal should be to, become this master alchemist that is getting less influence. And again, back to limiting beliefs and like guilt and these things, I think we have to look within ourselves and see if we have any of those. If we do feel guilt about having more, achieving more, having something better, because I think that a lot of this drama or negative things can be attracted unconsciously, actually feeling guilt for having something, thereby you would go from like the one side to the other side. And you would feel like subconsciously almost like you deserve something. But also, it says in the book that, the goal is to be less influenced by this. And I've noticed something. For example, last year with COVID, and this isn't about COVID, my computer. This is about COVID itself. Not a topic anyways, because it's very polarizing, but it's about the economy. For example, like the economy was great and then COVID happened, right? And then a lot of people became unemployed, their fault of their own. And it was generally more a time of struggle, right? For people in the US.
Yes.
Especially in the US. And why I'm bringing this up is because I've noticed a lot of people doing really well. But I mean, entrepreneurs. But here's the thing, I think, here's a huge like disclaimer. Of course, if you have how much control you have over your life, if you're an employee and you get furloughed or something, it's like you were an employee. But I mean, people that are entrepreneurs that depend on consumers spending money, saw the way how the economy went down, that would actually say that everyone should freak out and think, okay, I'm not going to make money because no one has money.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going, right? But
yeah,
alas, a lot of people did really well. And I think it's those people that did well that didn't get as influenced by like this energy of drama that like no one has spending money.
right.
You know,
Yeah, because
I mean,
that's a, that's a opinion, really. I mean, and just an attitude. I mean, like it goes back to a scarcity mindset in an abundant number. Like so, but it's so easy to fall back into. It's so, especially when it seems like the world is ending. With COVID and the whole doom and gloom like that they love to like throw at us. So
and I mean, it was a time of economic uncertainty and a lot of people unemployed. So I mean, all of that is real.
Definitely, yeah.
So, but still, a lot of people that were ending on like consumer spending money still did well. And of course, not certain industry. Of course, if you own a restaurant, you're screwed.
Right, yeah.
I'm trying to say, like, but still, I mean, like the one.
There are other ways, yeah. There are solutions, basically. And you're right. I mean, I have seen a lot of, I guess, like more so entertainment or products. People were getting creative. Like it inspired a lot of people, and it disinspired a lot of people. It's a word,
Sure.
but I flipped a little bit more into the book, and it just said there's something that I saw. Oh, well, just more on rhythm. It just says like the swing of the pendulum is ever in evidence, and there's something about how this just applies to, and that it basically that this whole rhythmic movement, it may be applied to any question or any phenomena of the many planes of life and applied to all phases of basic human activity, so I mean, and when people think of this rhythm, like we're not all stuck in it together. Like, yes, we are, but like we can go up and we can go down, like we're still going back and forth in that pendulum, but like the book was saying, we can gain this awareness or this mental willpower to rise above and switch the poles between which we're swinging, but we're still going to be in this, or neutralize the poles of which we're swinging, if whatever our intent is, but it's still gonna, there's, we're, as we're a living being, we're still gonna have this rhythm to us. Like we still breathe, we still, we just still have these constant motions. So, but it's evident in everywhere. We're all born and we all die. Things create or grow and evolve and then and then die or something, or just decay. But yeah, I mean, it's in I don't know where I was gonna basically continue with that, but essentially the same thing, trying to skim over these last few parts here, and it's just like essentially saying the same thing to what we are right now. But
one thing I want to read is the importance of this will be appreciated by any thinking person who realizes what creators of moods, feelings, and emotion the majority of people are, and how little mastery of themselves they manifest. And that's how we're already saying, again, you don't, and I mean, at one point, the book did say that you don't have to actually jump on the swing of the pendulum, but like, again, most people don't even have the self-mastery or the self-awareness. That goes back to, that's why I brought up the COVID economy example. Like, easily are you influenced, and like your mood and your feelings and your beliefs, like if you think that like, again, like everything, the economy is crashing, everything is so bad and there's no money to be made, then again, even though that is a reality that is true for some, like if you accepted that it's true for yourself, then you know what I mean, you don't have self-mastery.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the herd mindset, you just kind of, what are the masses doing? Okay, well then that's, I guess, what I need to do too. And I just saw on here too where the law of compensation that it mentions later on. I don't know. And just one more sentence that I'll read here that I like is let's see, subject. So okay, here we go. Just to get a little bit more into the law of compensation. So it says the Hermeticists teach that a man's mental states are subject to the same law. The man who enjoys keenly is subject to keen suffering, while he who feels but little pain is capable of feeling but little joy. The pig suffers but little mentally and enjoys but little. He is compensated. And on the other hand, there are other animals who enjoy keenly, but whose nervous organism and temperament cause them to suffer exquisite degrees of pain, and so it is with man. And then it says there are temperaments which permit but low degrees of enjoyment and equally low degrees of suffering, while there are others that permit most intense enjoyment, but also the most intense suffering. So that also is kind of just what we were saying earlier as well. Yeah. And it must have, an attraction, like with what we're comfortable with, like if we're used to a life of pain, then maybe we're going to go where it's more comfortable or painful, essentially, or we don't necessarily know how to switch, or know what we deserve if we've been through a lot of suffering or pain, or vice versa. And then here it's talking also about like in the previous reincarnation. So yeah, I'm just kind of
exactly. And that's one part I want to read that I marked this right after this actually. So the Hermeticists claim that the master or advanced student is able to a great degree to escape the swing towards pain by the process of neutralization before mentioned. By rising onto the higher plane of the ego, much of the experience that comes from those dwelling on the lower plane is avoided and escaped. So,
yes, yeah.
With many things in the esoteric studies, like they'll always tell us to get over your ego, but it's true. Like a lot of this pain that we experience comes from our ego.
Directly, yeah, essentially. I mean, I feel like most of the pain that we experience comes from the ego,
Sure.
Interesting. And just let me read one more just little kind of example that they have here. It says, no one can keep his penny and have the bit of cake at the same time. Everything has its pleasant and unpleasant sides, right? So you can't have your cake and eat it too, I guess. And it says that the millionaire may have the inclination towards feasting and the wealth wherein to secure all the dainties and luxuries of the table. While he lacks the appetite to enjoy the same, he envies the appetite and digestion of the laborer who lacks the wealth and inclinations of the millionaire, and who gets more pleasure from his plain food than the millionaire could ever obtain if his appetite were not jaded, nor his digestion ruined, for the one's habits and inclinations differ. So, it's like you can't be stuck in the one side. Like there's always going to be the back and forth, and and that just kind of shows you, like, or in a simple sense, just because you have millions doesn't necessarily mean you have it all, right? And so you have to have like this balance within the rhythm, and within, like, there has to be that compensation. And I think the compensation is kind of a good way to even get into like the cause and effect too. Yeah. So they kind of set these principles up well to where they just kind of flow right into the next one and back and forth. It's all just kind of similar. But do you want to say anything more about this one, or you want to go into the next one?
I would go on to the next one.
Okay.
Causation, cause and effect. I'm going to read the first few phrases of it. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. And the great principle, the principle of cause and effect, embodies the truth that law pervades the universe. That nothing happens by chance. That chance is merely a term indicating cause existing but not recognized or perceived. That phenomena is continuous without break or exception. Oh, one more thing. Actually, even though I don't want to read the whole thing, but just the beginning of the phrase, that's really important. The of cause and effect underlies all scientific thought. That's very important because out of all the principles, like it's probably the most scientific one.
Yeah, I would agree, definitely. And yeah, and enunciated by the Hermetic teachers in the earliest days. So, I mean, and that's, you know, I feel like you don't have to think especially hard to know that cause and effect exists in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, like with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So that also applies back into like quantum physics a little bit that I mentioned in the beginning. You know, like there is a response to every action in the universe, essentially. And that especially applies in our day-to-day life. I mean, everything, you know, but just in my you know, me personally, and I'm sure with everybody else, like, I wake up in the morning and turn the light on, it gets bright in my room, you know, or like if I make a mistake, you know, then there's a consequence, or if I do something good, then there's a reward, hopefully, or whatever, an achievement, you know, and even right now, like if you could take this to the grand scheme and think of like the ocean burning, right, you know, like, and have you heard about that in the Gulf? I think it's in the Gulf of Mexico where the
what?
ocean,
No.
Oh my God, like the ocean is like on fire. Like I think there was like an oil spill or something. Let me get this straight.
No, I didn't hear about it. I've never heard that the ocean is burning. How is that possible?
So there's a gas leak from an underwater pipeline. Sees flames erupt in the Gulf of Mexico. It literally, excuse me. I don't know if you'll be able to. I just got like a hairball. I don't know if you can really see that picture. It's kind of like
a little bit. That's crazy.
Yeah, it looks like an egg. It looks like like an egg yolk in the ocean. But essentially the ocean is on fire because of these gas leakages and underwater pipeline. So cause and effect, you know, and everyone's freaking out about capitalism and the end of the world. It's just it's insane. So but you know, there's reasons for this to happen, and then more.
It's 2021, right? Like in 2021, there's nothing anymore that is like 1 month is like aliens, UFOs were like, all right, like
what? Right, ocean's on fire. Okay, great, yeah. Like, how concerned do I need to be about this? Like, so it's, yeah, anything's possible in 2021 now. We're not. If they say the aliens are real, it's like, well, damn, about time. Like, so I mean, I knew this already.
What I want to say about this law is I think it's one of the most misunderstood ones by esoteric people, because again, the law of the cause and effect is also called the law of karma. And karma is a concept, as we know, it's very like prevalent in like the Eastern religions, you know. And what annoys the hell out of me is when people or certain movements come on and like make their own meaning of karma, and that's not what it actually was supposed to mean. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. You do this and you get this back, or you get it back 3 times, or some nonsense. And again, this is not how what karma was supposed to mean in the first place. It means that every action has a consequence. It doesn't mean that someone who does something evil, unfortunately, will always get it back the same way. That's nonsense.
Right.
If you look at the world, like who's running the world?
Right.
More that everything has a consequence, you know? But like, no, there is no being in the clouds that says, oh, Katie, like you stole coffee yesterday.
Yeah.
Now someone is gonna steal your coffee. Like, no.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It works.
Yeah. That'd be kind of annoying. I feel like that's more so like fairy mischief or something right there, you know, like not karma, but
that was a stupid example. And
but I know
you get caught as theft. That was a bad example, but I think
it was a good one still. I mean, it's just a simplified example, but
like stuff really misinterpreted with this law, because it's really about like causation and the consequence. It does not mean that you do something evil and you gotta like, it's really upsetting to some. I've had actually all these discussions with other people about it, like because you know, it makes you feel better like if you live your life by being a morally good person, you know what I mean, like with a lot of moral integrity, I want to say, and then you see other people getting away with
wrong
and doing evil stuff, like it is disturbing. And like to their peace of mind, they always say, oh yeah, that person gets it back, but it's like, it depends, you know what I mean, but it depends more on the cause and the situation. But no, there is no being that's gonna punish you like while you're here on earth instantly. That's nonsense.
Yeah, true.
It works. I mean, how evil people constantly get away with stuff.
Right. And then there's some people that seem that, you know, they constantly like a serial killer, you know, like, I mean, like, okay, maybe yes, if they get they get caught, you know, get jail time or whatever here, I feel like maybe more so their punishment is going to come like after this life or something. I don't know, you know, it's not necessarily like for every person they kill, like something happens right then and there.
Yeah.
But sometimes in my experience, like, it's funny, you know, like, I don't know, I can't think of like a specific example, but just little things will happen where it's like something funny and then bam, like instant karma in the moment, you know, like somebody takes something and then boom, like some chance thing happens where it's like, oh, they trip when they're trying to take this, you know, paper or whatever, you know, and then it's like, instant karma. But that doesn't always happen, but it's just kind of,
yes, it's one of the great mysteries of the universe, I think. But I feel like a lot of this is attracted because people believe in it.
Yes, I agree.
If you believe in this, if you believe that you do something bad and you get something back for it, then again, you're gonna feel guilt and have belief that deep within yourself you're gonna attract it then. Really karma? I don't think so. I think you attracted it because you believed it.
Yeah.
Because again, that's why all those evil people constantly get away with everything. With many things. I mean, this week.
Wait, what?
Sorry, like Bill Cosby got free.
Oh my God, I
know. There's like evidence that he raped like 20 women or something, and he got free. And then last week, I don't know if you heard about Britney Spears.
Yes, I was just about to say,
she's basically like a labor slave, like modern day slave. Like, I mean, and so we wanted free Britney, we got free Bill Cosby. Like,
I know, like
the karma. Where?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like Britney deserves much more. I was so upset. Like my coworker and I were talking about this the other day. Just like Bill Cosby is free, but not Britney. Who did this? What? I don't. There will be karma eventually, but like it's not happening right now. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Doesn't look like.
It doesn't look like it, yeah.
Doesn't look fair to me, or look at, sorry to get a bit political, I don't know how familiar you are with this, but look at Julian Assange. I don't know how familiar you are. That's the WikiLeaks founder.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's the one, but like he exposed war crimes.
Right.
And corruption and rigging election. You know, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
He did what journalists are supposed to do. And like, if he gets like extradited to the US, he's going to face 175 years in prison for like breaking an espionage law.
Oh my God.
Sorry, no, I'm getting too much into it. The point, like, karma, where like he exposed war crimes, he's a hero. Same with Edward Snowden. Like, I'm very like, you know, pardon him, pardon Assange. So because they did things that are like good for society.
Right. Yeah. So
punished.
Yeah, I don't know where who's in charge of dealing out these fates or whatever, but maybe it is the three fates. But I keep like skimming over like the last few pages of the causation chapter, and there's so much that I feel like I want to kind of just go over really quick, but let me just try to read something for a second. So let's see here. There's a lot of good stuff in this, but okay, so it does say that let's see. They talk a lot about free will, and I don't really want to get into like free will here, but it says some confusion has arisen in the minds of persons considering this principle from the fact that they were unable to explain how one thing could cause another thing, that is to be the creator of the second thing. So, kind of tying into like what creates the cause and effect, or what creates the the result, I guess. And then let's see.
Yes, there's something about exactly that I marked. Careful examination will show that what we call chance is merely an expression relating to obscure causes that we cannot perceive, causes that we cannot understand.
Yes.
So according to the Kybalion, there is no chance, and that is something I've said that my whole life. There is no coincidence. I like that word, but like whenever I talk about it, I don't believe in it. I believe everything has a cause.
Yeah. Same. And that also comes down to magic. I remember in one of my first YouTube, I think it was my first YouTube video, I got a couple comments that, because I had said, is it magic or is it coincidence? And people were like, it's not coincidence. If it's magic, it can't be coincidence. And I'm like, I know, but I'm just saying, just to like ease the minds of some people that are watching this for the first time. But but essentially the same, like, at work or something, I'll make jokes, because not everyone that I work with, outside of this stuff knows that I'm spiritual or into certain stuff. So I'll say, oh, like coincidence? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, but no, not really. Like synchronicity maybe, or manifested energy. But and then let's see, there's another one up here, kind of just talking about, I feel like we'll have to have more conversations on maybe even this too, and just when we get into the last principle, like we could also talk about like the all and stuff. But because there's another paragraph where it says like the majority of people here are more or less the slaves of heredity, environment, etc., and manifest very little freedom. And it really, like, I mean, I'm guilty of the same thing. Like I feel like even you saying, like I have all these ideas, and then with you kind of being the push to get like more YouTube videos out this morning, it's like, I have this access to do more and like build this freedom. So and sometimes we just need that little push or whatever. Maybe that's a bad example, but because I can get stuck. It's easy for me myself sometimes to get stuck in that pendulum swing, like I'm only human, as much as the awareness that I have to try not to, like sometimes I get beat down by the day or whatever, or like this last week I was sick a little bit, so I really just didn't have like energy to do things, so I wasn't necessarily thinking in a more elevated like mindset, or but at the same time I feel like I do have enough awareness to where I'm not as much of a slave to it as a lot of people, which I'm grateful for, and I try not to be, and I try not to associate with other people like that, but it's like, how can we apply this in our day-to-day? Like, how can we have this constant awareness, and a lot of that just comes down to like grounding and even like meditation and
for sure,
and mental, like mentally, if we don't have control of over our minds and our magic, then somebody else does,
yeah, there's one last paragraph I want to read, and then maybe we can like wrap it up.
Cool.
Oh, actually two.
Okay, go for it.
But the masters, knowing the rules of the game, rise above the plane of material life and placing themselves in touch with the higher powers of their nature, dominate their own modes, characters, qualities, and polarity, as well as the environment surrounding them, and thus become movers in the game instead of pawns, causes instead of effects. That's beautiful. Again, think of manifestation as like you willed it, and like you are setting the cause by putting it there, you know what I mean? So you don't like have to be a slave of like life, like you create life instead of life is happening to you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the last, and that's actually even the last, like in the chapter in the book, is the Hermetic teachings are that man may use law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevail against the lower until at least he has reached the stage in which he seeks refuge in the law and lost the phenomenal laws to scorn. So yeah, gotta dominate your own roots and have control and achieve self-mastery, and then
use the law to overcome the law.
Yes, and use all of this to your advantage and to be the cause, not like life is happening to me and those are all the effects. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We can't have that poor me, or, you know, we can't be, it's not time to be slaves anymore. You know, we're trying to control our own destinies and, you know, manifest accordingly. And this book is essentially like how to manifest in a book, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that more people don't know about this book. You know, I've actually mentioned to a few people that aren't into a cult or anything. So I guess that makes sense. But I'm just like, yeah, I do some podcasts where I'm going into the Kybalion, and they're like, the what? And I'm like, well, it's a book. So I don't know. But
it should be taught in school. Seriously.
It should be, honestly. Like, geez. Imagine reading this in school. Where would the world be like now? So I don't know.
And again, but on the other side, yes, of course, a lot of people, for example, don't know about this very important book, but at the same time, there is something like a global awakening going on. Like, I have no doubt, because people are being so many masses are so more open-minded.
Yes.
With like spirituality, like everyone's meditating, or like no one thinks it's like woo-woo anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we get there.
It is. We are getting there. And it is, you know, and I really enjoy these YouTube communities that, you know, with the right messages, like, and collaborating on stuff like this, and, you know, and the stuff that we're putting out there, and like, just more like-minded people. Like, you just have to be careful with the information that you filter, because there's a lot of people that don't really know what they're talking about too. You know, people will just say anything. And there's a lot of people, I feel like, even in the awakening, like, communities that try to get you to spend hundreds of dollars on a product that isn't necessarily, I don't know, it just is like, they're just trying to scam a little bit still, but
they will be everywhere though.
Yeah, they are.
This is everywhere.
It is, yeah. And if it works for them, then great. But, you know, I enjoy doing these like educational things for now, and just kind of gathering a foundation from that so far. So
yeah, many more to go.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot. So thank you guys for watching today.
Yes.
And we'll come back with more videos on the last principle and some other stuff. So
yeah, and I think both of us are taking breaks from traveling, like the past, like since end of May, I was traveling, and then I was traveling again, and then you were traveling when I was but now I'm taking a little break, and I think you were taking a little break too.
Yep, I'm back in town. So in town to focus on more of my solo videos too. So
yes, awesome. And I think we'll be doing one like once a week, right? So
yep. Yeah, more regularly. So stay tuned, you guys.
Stay tuned.
If this is probably not posted on the 4th, but whatever.
Yeah, and guys, please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to both of our channel. Okay, like individually, we will link the other's channel. Subscribe to both of us.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
And like our video, and push the bell notifications button so that you always see when we post a new video. Do that for both of us. All right.
Yes. We'll be doing it regularly. So thank you guys for watching. And this is fun. And y'all enjoy your Independence Day or whatever day you're watching this.
Yes, enjoy. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
See you soon. Enjoy, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Until next time. Bye-bye.